Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the SP404 mk2, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. The Heavy Hearts Show wrote in asking why audio content does not get quantized to the pattern quantization. And this is actually a really bigger topic than what I suspect your problem is, but if you happen to write in and give me a little bit more details about your loops, or if you want to send me some, I can take a look and get a sense for it. But super high level, we need to make sure we understand what quantization is. So I got this piece of paper. I'm just going to kind of write down some different notes here, but effectively, let's just do a 1-bar experiment here. So I've got I'm just drawing out 1 bar. We've got 4 quarter notes. So we've got 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, and this would be 2.1. Now, the 1, 1 is going to play from 1, 1 to 1, 2, then 1, 2 to 1, 3, 1, 3 to 1, 4, 1, 4 to 2.1. So we're not actually playing anything over here after the 2.1, but it's just kind of a marker that you want to be aware of because that's your endpoint. So with that said, if we're just trying to talk about how quantization works, is at the simplest level, we're just going to use quarter notes. Let's say you have a 100% quantization set. It's going to basically be saying if you play a pad event or create an event by hitting something, whoops, didn't mean to actually start something, but if you're playing some content on one of your pads, it's just trying to say, like, if you're doing a quarter note, for example, what's the affinity for that note landing on 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, and not 2.1. So it's going to tend to pull everything back and kind of snap it on the grid. And this is where if you come in and we go into pattern mode, we look at like this pattern and hit TR rec and then get in. I'm going to turn it off. We don't need it playing, but this is just basically trying to tell you, in this case, it's 16th notes. So we'd actually have to, draw and split all of these in half and then half again, but that would be where all your 16th notes are. So it's just trying to determine where each note goes, which this is all fine and good. And if you're playing straight, not a problem. But what ends up happening is if you wanted to, I'm going to stop this in case I want to try to show you on someone on the SP404 mk2. Don't know that I will, but let's say we want to actually slow everything down and make it go longer. So we just basically, I'm just going to draw a longer line to represent this. So again, cut it in half, cut it in half, cut it in half. I'm just going to focus on the 1, 1 to show you this as an example, and we'll ignore the anything after. Well, this first sample is pretty straightforward, right? Like it's going to land on 1, 1. We're just going to go straight down onto 1, 1. Then you can see here for the 1, 2, it's a little bit further out. It's not that far. So if you think about this as a rubber band, like if we just have it like here and we were to draw on it, it's fine. But then like we're stretching that rubber band out a little bit further. So it's evenly stretching like these samples out to map them out onto what this is playing slower. And as you can see, like it's just getting further and further out because of what I'm drawing out for a change here so much. And again, like it would do the same thing for all these 8th and 16th notes as well and kind of land them out here. So it's like a small change potentially individually as you do it, but they do add up in making this big change over time. So how am I trying to explain this for quantization? So this is just kind of like where it's trying to do this for the audio. Now, when we're talking quantization, I'm usually also including in thinking about what you call groove or swing, which is instead of like the notes gravitating and landing on these perfect, 16th notes, and we'll do this with 8th notes instead. But, if you come in and cut this in half and in half, then we do it again, I'll explain swing for the 8th notes here. So right now, each of these notes that are in between, I would say are at 50% swing. And what that means is that it's 50% of the way to the note prior and 50% of the way towards the next note. And that is just how a like locked in perfect loop would look. On the flip side, if we draw this line again, and I'll just do this, we could say we want to go more for a 75% swing. And what's going to happen is for these 8th notes, you're going to see them start moving towards instead of lining up straight here, or if I just do a dashed line, you can see they're basically 25% closer, and we've basically pushed it out towards the next nearest note. So when you start talking about, anyway, it's fine. I just was noticing this one's like a little late, or early rather. Anyway, if this is 75% swing down here, then that means that any of these notes that are played near here are going to kind of gravitate to locking in at this location instead of at this halfway point. So 75% instead of 50%. Now, this is all cool, except that now if we go back and start talking about quantization, if you're trying to quantize and you have swing, the audio stream doesn't know how to do that, so it's just going to do a 1-to-1. Whatever's here, as I'm drawing these lines straight down, it's just going to bring those things over. It's not going to be able to reprocess on the SP404 mk2 to put things in this new swing. On Ableton Live, you can totally do this. They have what's called a groove template, I believe is the name of it. And what it does is it actually takes something that looks kind of like this, and let's say it has like this 75% swing to it. It's just going to take and assume a certain type of audio, and let's say the 50%, and it's just going to take and go 1-to-1, and then it's going to kind of shuffle stuff over. So you can see you kind of get like this like little bit of push, and as I'm sure you can imagine, you get like some of this push and pull. The SP404 mk2 can't do this with audio, and that's why in some of the previous videos I've discussed, taking and chopping things up, because if you have a loop that is set up in either of these patterns, as long as you just chop on the transients, you can then take and kind of apply whatever swing that you want by playing it out live, or using the swing/shuffle feature to quantize your patterns too. Anyway, I hope this makes sense. If not, drop some comments and I'll try and answer things a little better. And yeah, the Heavy Hearts Show, I don't know if this actually is what you were looking for information, if it helps you, but if it doesn't, or even if it does, feel free to drop some note in the comments. Happy to kind of get a better sense for what you're talking about or having for a problem, and see if I can help you out. Anyway, take it easy, everybody. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good, and peace.